I feel like you appreciated the blech.
Oh yeah. It's gotten to a point, like, it started out as like a thing that, people would do and everybody would get like super hype, and now it's almost gotten to the point where it's like comedic when you hear it. It's like the lick but for metal.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I feel like everyone, if you like start having a discussion about the band like Architects, like you can't not mention the blech because
They were the pioneers.
they were the blech boys for sure.
And they've kind of gone away from that now because everybody else does it. But
Well, sadly, also they've won. I mean, not to make this talk about Architects, but their one guitarist passed away, and he was like the main like writer. So like everything, the like most recent singles sound so different. I think because Tom is no longer like the driving force of the band.
I was thinking that they sounded different too, but I didn't realize that he had passed.
Yep. Yeah. I think I don't want to like misquote. I thought he had a battle with cancer and lost. I think that was what happened. Don't quote me on that. People, do your research. Go on the internet, but also don't trust the internet.
But yeah,
I don't know.
But yeah, Currents, I looked it up because I was curious. They are from Connecticut.
Interesting.
Fairfield.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's interesting. They were another group of the like late 2000s, early 2010s like Christian metalcore boom, which I think is such a strange thing. Like that was a thing for a few years where it felt like every like metalcore and deathcore band that was new were like a Christian group.
Yeah. That makes sense based upon the tour that they were on, cuz it was, well, I don't think like Moss to Flames could be one, but I know Fit for a King is a Christian metalcore band.
Yeah.
So like that makes sense, and like yeah, okay. That makes sense. That's like connecting a lot of like dots from like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was such an interesting time with all of those groups, because I think that it got a lot of people into heavy music that may have not gotten into it because of, preconceived notions about like the beliefs of metal bands or whatever.
yeah.
And I think that it was an interesting thing that grew the community a bit, but now like looking back, it's like that was kind of weird.
Yeah, the funny and what I love is like I didn't know half of these bands were like Christian at all until I think I randomly like read in an interview like something about that.
Yeah.
But like I love that, because I'm not trying to like put anyone down, but sometimes it can get a little preachy, and like I appreciate that they're like, we're just gonna make good music, and it's not all about that in a sense. Like we just want to make good music, and we happen to be Christian, sort of thing. Does that make sense? Yeah, I appreciate that.
So yeah, also that entire album is great front to back.
It's super well produced.
When did it come out? It came out in 2020.
Yeah, it was a 2020. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say like summer-ish.
Okay.
I could be wrong,
yeah.
But
I need to go back and listen to that entire album again because it's just so good.
Hell yeah. I think it popped up on, like, because, like when you listen to a song and it makes like a radio for that song and then it just keeps going. I think think this was actually on the radio for the Hollowfront song I played earlier, and I think it just kept going and eventually landed on this, and I was like, ooh, this is like, it's like funky. There's like the really like chaotic, like really high guitar, just random almost notes, like dissonance kind of thing. I thought that and then like immediately contrasted, like the next bar is like a super low like riffy thing, and I just like loved how you could jump from back and forth. It really gave it a lot of like movement.
Yeah, for sure.
Tight.
So my next group is a group called Lion Eyes, which
that sounds very familiar.
Well, they're from Maryland, and I was doing some research on them, and they have such a weird progression of their sound. Like they formed when they were in high school, or maybe even like late middle school. And they started gigging and recording like straight out of high school, maybe even when they were still in high school. But at that time, they were like dub and reggae influenced rock. But now like their most recent album is like straight up stoner metal.
Gotcha.
So it's a really weird progression that they went through, but it's really good. They're a 3-piece, and this was released in March of 2020. And this song is called Exploding Future Blues off of their album Panic Attack.